it's going to be ridiculous, and they already have it getting used right now in other fields. So it's just it's
That's
it's all
called.
been
I think
researched.
that.
I mean, it's crazy.
Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff. That's called thinking in the third degree, three dimension. It's like
Yes.
can't even fathom that. That's so far ahead of the times.
Yeah. I mean, if you can take an oral supplementation and you can bypass the liver and the kidneys right away and be able to deliver 100% of that product, it's going to be a win. It's going to be a definite win. That's what I see with some of the different things that we're going to do. Um, and I'm going to fill you in on the back end so you know all about it. But I can't talk about it right now because of NDA.
No
So,
sweat.
but I
No
can
sweat.
hit on those little tops, and I'm telling you, it's Mike. I've never seen anything like it. Let's put it that way. It's a total game changer situation.
You're so busy and you're crushing it with Titan Medical, but you still find time for the family and date night. I love this last couple weeks, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, with Peter playing varsity baseball, they told him that basically he can't play for any other teams. So, Peter was on three other baseball teams while he was on that team. And at that point, we were going every weekend, Saturday, Sunday. We'd be at the
Right.
baseball field for 4 to 6 to 8 hours a day. And at that point, with this coach telling him like you can't play for these other teams because we don't want you to possibly get injured, it's freed up my weekends tremendously. So I've been able to do some different things. Me and wifey going on a date night, or just going out for dinner or whatever it is. It's been different because usually it's all revolved around him and baseball. So
That's a good father's. It should be, trying to get him as advanced as possible.
of course,
So this has kind of helped, actually.
of course, yeah. I mean, he's lifting, he's still doing everything with the team. So I mean, he's doing more than ever. So he even
Was
got to
he
work out.
okay? Was he okay pulling back and just giving his attention to the one team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how, because I'm like, man, you're missing out on reps. This is something like, but basically the coach told him like, and to put the fear of God in him. He's a freshman, obviously, this coach, if you want to play baseball, you're going to do it my way and that's it. He told these other kids, if you find out, then you're off the team, so. And it's a highly competitive team. They won the state championship last year at 7A. So, I mean, they're a huge school. There's a lot of people that want to play. And if you don't want to play, he'll just get rid of you. And that, it is what it is. And that's just what it is. So, I told him, I said, listen, I was like, he doesn't mind. I mind. My dad minds. We really want to see him play. Especially my dad. It's like I only got a limited amount of time here. It's like I want to see my play. I'm used to it. We've been used to this. We've been doing this for so long. It's kind of throwing us out of that routine a little bit and kind of feeling displaced in that arena. But like I said, when they start getting that age, they don't want to hang around you anyway. They want to go with their friends, and that's it. And they want to talk to them on the phone. They want to be separate. So you're trying to get past that. I'm just trying to get him better. So he's been training pretty hard. He even got to train with Julio Rodriguez, who was an all-star Seattle Mariner, he was Rookie of the Year and stuff like that too as well. So he's been doing some good things as far as that goes. I want to get him involved with as many pros as possible to give their experience, their insight, maybe some tips and tricks that help them along the way. So that's what I'm doing, man. I'm just focusing all on him and all on the business of what we're gonna do.
As a father, how are you? I know this is one of those hard ones because he's so tall. Um, how do we get him eating? How's the last couple months transferred? Is there any kind of tricks that you're giving to these parents out here watching right now? This has nothing to do with Titan Medical and anything. It's just
Yeah,
a kid going through puberty is the
yeah,
most important time to eat.
of course.
So if there's any tricks that you have or anything that you've noticed that could help them.
The biggest thing I could say is and this is tough for me for him because I'm not around him all the time. You got to eliminate the snacking through the day. They eat the snacks through the day. They don't want to eat the meals. So if you eliminate that and you make them hungry, they're going to eat what's in front of them. If they get other choices throughout the day, probably not. So for him, it's like I have to be on him. It's still this day. I'm like, he comes to me. He tells me, the coach tells me I need to put on 10 pounds by spring. Okay, cool. Well, you know what you got to do. I know what you got to do. You're going to have to train. You got to eat and you got to sleep. This is going to help the growth, right? If you train, and let's say you leave the house, like take them to school every morning, and you don't have anything to eat and you go train, now you're burning through what you don't already have in your body. You're burning through calories. And if you're not getting those calories and you're not getting sufficient calories and you're not breaking down the protein like you need to, you're going to start cannibalizing your muscle. You're not going to get any bigger, right? That's what's going to happen. So that's what's happening to a certain degree. But the other back end, what I've got them doing is a tip that I would recommend for parents out there, is you make them drink a protein shake before they go to bed. I still make them do that. So I've got them on certain supplementation as far as that goes, like arginine. I've got some oral vitamins, some gummies and stuff like that. And I've got him on a protein shake before bed. So he's got to do that no matter what. So if he's like, well, I got to eat my meal. Well, you better eat your meal, and then you're going to drink this protein shake right behind it. So that'll at least get him protein through the night and get some calories there. But that's done a little bit, obviously, but he's not maximized what he could possibly do. Got to get him eating. Some kids his age, and this is the thing, I'm like, man, I was like, what's going on here? Because his friends that come over, I'm like, hey, what do you guys want to eat? Oh, man, I'm like, you want steak? Oh, please. And, man, they eat down that steak like they didn't eat steak forever, right? And I'm like, you need this type of hunger. Like, when he was growing up when he was a kid, he was not like that. Like, he eat everything. He eat everything that put in front of him. He'd finish it up. It's just as he's gotten older, I guess, where he's not around me as much, and now he's being able to, I don't know. This might be a downfall by my hand. Like I've got him where he can pay for things by himself. So he's going to training. I've got a driver picking him up from training because I can't get him at work. Picking him up, and then at that point, take him to a gas station, and he might be getting. I'm off. He might be getting these snacks or
snacks and stuff,
whatever it was. Right. Yeah. So. Definitely don't want that. So I've got to limit that too. It's hard. It's hard as a parent.
I know that I have a short period of time to continue to feed Titan like we're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get as much tips as those kids that are like 10 years, older than Titan on what the parents are doing. So this is helpful for me.
Of course.
So.
Yeah, I know. Right now, you're maximizing what you can do for him. You are. I mean, I love it. I wish I could have maximized every single second for Peter growing up like that. And I think that truly sets the precedence of how things are going to be. For me, when he was around me, especially growing up, no McDonald's, no pop, no nothing, right? He goes to Grandma's house, and Grandma's getting him these things. Grandma thinks that's going to make me look in a better light. I'm treating him. You had this when you were a kid, John. I said, yeah, I had this when I was a kid, but we didn't know it did this.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have more education than ever about foods that we eat. They have to break down what's in the foods. They never had to do that. When I was a little kid, and like when I went to go stay with my grandma in Chicago, we walked everywhere because she didn't have a car. We took buses. And then when I asked for McDonald's, she walked me to McDonald's. And it was the most embarrassing thing ever, Mike. She'd go to the counter because then they didn't have to put calories or any of the nutritional facts. Right. And she asked for the manager. And the manager comes up and goes, how can I help you, ma'am? And she's like, well, my grandson wants to get this Happy Meal. What's in the fries? What kind of oil you putting these fries into? What are these chicken nuggets made out of? Right? Dude, most embarrassing thing ever, dude. I mean, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I just want a Happy Meal. You're 8 years old. You're like, please, you don't know any of these other things. So she'd get down, pat all that stuff down for me, get all the grease off it. By that time it's cold. I'm like, I just want to eat the food, But yeah, so I mean, it's one thing. We have more information. We need to be able to educate our kids. I think it's a form of abuse to a certain extent or neglect when you just don't look after what your kids are doing or eating. It is.
That's the funniest thing. It's I get tagged on a lot of this stuff because I think it's true in today's society. They're like, "Oh, let your kid be a kid," and I'm not quite sure what that is. I mean, the point is to feed, keep them clothed and a house, roof over the head and stuff. And it's like we're at the stage right now that we could maximize his growth, his potential, and we still have control of that because of his age. Again, he's 4, so it's we're lucky in that sense. But it's also lucky that anybody that babysits and watches him, like Mona's family, they're on that protocol to feed him the same way that we feed him.
That's right.
Um, but it's interesting that society's like, no, 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 let him be a kid. No, no, he should be eating chocolate right now. He should be eating candies at pop.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be exercising and doing jujitsu at 2, 3, 4 years old. It's like, what? I'm lost. You're saying let them be completely, I don't know, bad nutrition, no foundation of growth for their
Yeah.
physique or their body or mind.
Yeah.
And then when they get to 15 and 16, they're complaining about life. Like, why am I the fat kid that
Right.
can't do anything?
Right.
It's that's a weird concept that people think that that's a normal thing. Because I sure didn't. I grew up in the 70s and 80s. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, I grew up with 10 brothers and sisters. So if I got a second meal, it's only because I showed up to dinner 10 minutes early and grabbed
Right.
everything and then grabbed a little bit more of everybody's food
Right.
before they got there. But it was like it was outside playing football in the streets.
Yep.
Coming home with the lights coming out. It's a weird concept that it's changed so much with social media and the pressure of social media. And then you got this phenomenon. I don't know if nobody is seeing what John's kid looks like, but he's taller than not me,
Yeah, he's
and
big.
he was just turning 14 at the time.
He's a
Yeah.
stud.
And he's a stud. He really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're doing a great job, genetically gifted and doing what you can. And he does not like to eat.
No, he doesn't. Not force him though. He's been eating grilled chicken and rice every night, so he's on it. I've definitely been putting him on it. I mean, like I said, if I can get the snacking gone, or Papu not get him, the McDonald's on the side when he picks him up from school when I'm out there, he'd be good. I mean, of course, life's about balance, right? And I don't want to not make him feel like he's so like different from all his friends, because these kids some have some structure and some really don't as far as eating wise. Some really impressed me, like, hey, listen, like, I got to get my protein in. I got to eat this. I'm like, oh, damn, like, you're light years ahead of a lot of adults that I already know, right? And kids for sure. But some, they just don't have that structure at all. And then, it kind of like falls in the middle there. I'm like, listen, I'm like, you got a one up to all these kids. And I was like, this is what I do for a living. Like, this is what I do. I was like,
Yeah.
let me help you. Help all these people. They pay me to do this. I was like, I'm doing it for you because I want to do it for you and get you ahead of where you are now. So,
Get some
it's
questions together.
sort of
Mhm.
like, damn, I know I can do this, and like, come on, let me do it. So, it is what it is. We're with him, but he's getting bigger, man. He's definitely getting bigger.
I think people are confused on the reason we want them to eat healthy, the reason we want them to train and do the sports and do the activities is not solely for the hopes that he'll be a pro,
Right? No,
but it's for the hopes that he's going to be healthy and he can make a decision on wanting to do something.
of course.
It's not the fact that it is for us. I know this for us is like, I don't care if he fights when he gets older. I don't care if I hope he doesn't bodybuild. I hope he does whatever. But I'm going to at least, as a father, give him the tools and the healthiness to understand when he gets to that point, he can make his own decision.
Right.
Because I don't think most kids can make their own decision because the parents didn't set them up to win.
Absolutely not, man.
It's like, hey, I want to play pro football or whatever it is, or I want to go a skill sport like baseball.
Yep.
Holy
Yep.
cow, you got to start young. But
Yep.
you get to 18 and go, hey, I want to play pro baseball. Um, we're a little behind the curve here. It's
Right.
not as simple as that.
Right. Right. You got to be one hell of an athlete to do that. There's
Yeah,
only so many people I know as pros that like started that particular sport like at 16, 17, 18 years old. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to do, man, like that. You gotta consistently be working on what you want to do, your craft or whatever it is. And the parents gotta do that. And just like I was saying, like the abuse factor, like think about this. If you starve a kid, like if you starve Titan or I starve Peter, and he became famined, he became really, really small, people will be calling the cops on you and child services so quick But if that kid is morbidly overweight, obese, not the same thing, right? And I understand that people, the budgets, finances play a role in what the diet is going to be for the family. If people aren't making the money, I understand. Hey, listen, it is what it is, and we got to do what we got to do to survive. But when you do, and everything's there, I mean, you should definitely look at what your kids are doing. I mean, that should be, your health is your investment. Your kids' health should be right there alongside of it. Because that's your legacy. That's obviously that's who you brought in this world. You created. You want
Could
the
that
best for that.
be could that be the ignorance of just the average parent not realizing how food is medicine? I don't think food is like medicine. I think food is medicine.
Of
And I
course.
think if you eat a healthy nutrition plan for you and you exercise and you stay active, you could keep the doctor away for longer periods of time.
Absolutely.
And I
I
think
think that's true.
they go, no, he's a kid, he's growing, he'll get to his height that he's supposed to get to on soda pop and pizza. It's fine.
Well,
And
yeah, they're going to grow, right? But they're not going to optimally maximize that growth. That's the thing. Like, yeah, you feed a kid popsicles, pizza, and pop his whole life, they're still going to grow, but they're not going to get to the maximum potential of where they should have been, probably. You'll never know that. That's something like, it's like, it is what it is. But I've never seen anything like that as far as that goes. You know, I have seen some kids, where they've ate McDonald's because they couldn't afford anything else, and them get big and strong. But that's not everybody that does that. There's genetics that play roles in some of these different things too. And you got to look at all that thing because it all adds up to what you're looking for the result.
try to do the best you possibly can. I love that there's a
Well,
push.
um, uh,
Ready?
I
You got some
agree.
questions?
I have something to say, and then maybe I'll bring a couple of questions.
All right. All right.
So, I agree that, genetics and all that, but I grew up in Romania, and we were very, very poor, and the parents were not home a lot of
Yeah.
the time, most of the time. So we had to figure out what to eat on our own, and I was 11 and 12. So everything that we ate in Romania was
You went out and killed goats.
yes. So
Don't take
protein and
Mona to
potatoes.
a petting farm.
Yeah, we didn't have brats because you had to buy it. We didn't have money, but it was like meat and potatoes. Potatoes were easy to find. We would go
Yeah.
either steal them or get the leftovers from people that pick the potatoes, and then figure out the meat. and and we didn't have sweets, and we didn't eat sweets. We had some fruit off the
But see,
tree.
look at how you
So
not having sweets at that age has
okay,
transferred to
so
today.
that's my point. So my point is, okay, without having, if I had access probably to what we
Like
have
Americans do.
here,
Right, right.
okay,
Okay.
I would have been probably totally different because the fat cells and how they are developing when you are a kid, it
Yep.
is the most important ages until you hit probably 4 is how you are developing your fat cells
Yep.
and what's going on inside your body. And we didn't have the cakes, the ice creams, all that to actually build the fat cells. We hardly had meat and potatoes. So with that said, it's like I benefited so much because I am now 48 years old and I've walked around in shape. I mean, we've been together for almost 10 years. I've never been out of shape. Even when I was pregnant, if I turned around, you didn't know I had a belly and I didn't work out when I was pregnant. Don't get like I stopped working out. I ate
Yeah, we did it
quality
differently.
food.
We pulled her off the training. We pulled her away from that, and we made sure that her food was in a surplus, not for her, but for her being an
Baby.
incubator.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
my point here is that we definitely concentrated on Titan's diet to make it right. We don't want him to eat all this crazy stuff that a lot of people it's like, hey, forget about if he's eating the chicken. Make sure he eats his vegetables. Really? I mean,
There's a lot of misinformation for kids at that age on what
Yeah.
they should be eating.
I
Protein,
cooked
man.
for him, literally never had a baby canned food off the shelf ever in his life. I cooked for Titan and my sister helped when she watched him for us. But since he was born, breastfed, we stopped and we cooked food, Romanian style.
So
Yeah.
there's
So,
two things here I
yeah.
pick
Love
up.
it,
Two
Mona.
things I pick up is one is if you guys don't know the story, Mona didn't get a birthday cake until she got to America and she was like 21 years old.
I was 21 on my, and I'll never forget that day when my friend, she's now 73, came. I lived in a basement with no windows, and she came in with a cake. It was like, I was like, oh my God, my first birthday cake ever. And people like, are you
Wow.
serious? I'm like, yeah.
But
Wow.
what it did by eating the way you ate as a
Mm-hmm.
kid
Mm-hmm.
is that today, if we have a cheat day or a high day and you have a bite of a chocolate,
Oh, that's all I
the
need.
bite satisfies your body and
Yes.
mind relative to the person. I'm American, so I could eat all the 12 donuts. I got no problem, and I'm not satisfied until I finish the 12 donuts.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need one cookie. I need a bite of something. If I eat even a protein bar, to me it's like if I take a few bites, I'm good. I don't need to
So,
eat the whole
Johnny,
thing.
question then:
Sure.
those kind of habits, you're one of those guys. Your habits have become the way that you live, and I've been around you, and I've seen you enjoy food,
Hmm.
but you enjoy the healthy foods that you are so consistent with that you never go to the crazy stuff. Well, you've never around us have you ever done that. You're so satisfied with some incredible cooking and
He's
high.
plain. He's always
You're always.
steak and rice.
So
You know, his
is it the
chicken and rice.
consistency of that that created the habit and now that's all you want? So it's that pyramid, that domino effect, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I do think that obviously doing it for, like I said, getting to that routine of eating it, and I never had a problem with doing that. So like I could eat the exact same thing over and over and over. The military school, as we did every week, you had the exact same meals and just every day. So, but for me, I've gotten to that habit. It's a great habit. If I've ever tried to go and like I said, like I order like a cheeseburger from somewhere or something like that, and like I take one bite of it, or I look at it, and I'm like, I just I don't want this. I can't eat this, right? So that is what it is. I mean, listen, if there's like some chocolate chip cookies that are homemade or something like that, I might indulge on something like
Those were
that.
delicious.
Like I'll make my own milkshake, good organic ice cream, like that. That might be my tip, but I'm not gonna go and I'm not. I just can't. I don't know. Even if I wanted to go out and eat McDonald's, I couldn't do it. I just by eating it, it just does not make me feel good. So right away, I'm like, this is what it is, and like I feel better when I eat better food. I mean, that's another thing, is the way that you feel. Like you will feel bad. You will have more inflammation if you're eating junk food, more processed food. The worse. The longer it gets sit on the shelf, the worse it is for you. So I mean, at that point, if I could have home cooked meals every single day, all day long, that's what I would go with. So I'm doing my own home cooked meals, 2 meals a day for morning and dinner, and then at lunchtime I'm eating like 2 bowls of chicken and white rice. That's what it is. I'm getting it from Protein House. So at that point, like I know it's freshly cooked. I eat that, and then I'm good to go throughout the day. Maybe a protein shake here or there after training and stuff like that. But other than that, I get all everything I need from my food, man. I love my food.
I want to go over two more things because I do notice this is just if anybody's wondering, we have tightened around people that one of our dear friends is Steve Siegel, who owns Pink Box Donuts nationwide and Bagel Mania. And
Ooh,
so
I like donuts.
when we hang out with them, I say to Steve, "Go ahead." He goes, He should eat a donut. He should have some." Like, go right ahead. Go do it. Feed him. See it. And it's funny because every time we're there and there's parties or the weekends and stuff like that, and he'll keep trying to
Oh, he
get him.
tries.
And
He
Titan
tries
just
hard.
no.
Yeah. No,
No, no
thank
one
I
to
you.
want my
donuts.
chicken. I want my. It is again. It's cute to me that he still is has Mona's done so well with the nutrition that he doesn't venture out into or desire the sugars and chocolates. He's like, no, those are bad, and I love that.
I do too. That's awesome, Mona. Good job on both of you guys. But man, that, instilling that in Mona, And I'm telling you, man, like these years are vital. Like you're having right now, you're wiring everything up right now. And then because he's gonna go and he's starting to go into like pre-kindergarten right now and all that, he'll start experiencing with these other kids and they'll start talking, and their experience at home compared to what he's doing at home. So it'll be good. You set him up for that. That's good. You got to set him up.
That's what I'm curious about, because I know that when it switches, he's going to be with them 8 hours, 9 hours a day, compared to us only the very short morning and nights. What will the influence do to him? Or will he be strong enough at that stage that his influence over them wins out?
That's what I think is going to happen. The only reason I say that is because he towers over all those kids. Usually, the bigger kid, it is what it is running the show. And usually, other kids want to be like the bigger kid. And whatever he's doing, they're usually going to do. So, I mean, you guys are setting him up right. He's going to be a leader. He is. It's built in him. And at that point, they'll probably be following him, and he'll probably be making them healthier for sure, 100%, and doing better off for them than they're going to do for him.
I think for anybody at home that's wondering is so, yes, we got lucky with Titan and what we're doing. But I think, like I said about John, is when you start creating those habits and you continue to do it for a long enough period of time, it becomes second nature. And it really becomes what you want. And you don't desire the other stuff.
Absolutely.
And
when
I
you
think when it
start
comes,
sugar, it's an addiction. Like you want more. You do. I mean, I am the same way. Like, especially like dopamine, when you start eating chocolate and all that, dopamine receptor starts hitting. It's like the reward button. And it's like bing, 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 and you want to just keep hitting it. So, yeah, that's another thing. If you stay away from it, and you go like 2 weeks without sugar, you will feel no cravings at all. I mean, that's truth for sure.
that's also like pre-workouts or caffeine or pain meds. You start getting all
Yep.
pulled into that. Is that the camera? We're gone?
Mhm.
2 seconds. You guys keep going
Well,
here for a
yeah.
second.
Yeah.
I was
so,
gonna say I don't.
Audio.
oh, audio went down.
Yeah, tell her you can't hear her.
I can't hear you. What happened?
She can't hear you. Tell her you cannot hear her. She's still thinking.
Hey, Mona, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, she heard that. They'll fix it.
We're all coming back, guys. Don't worry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
I was saying that I don't mind.
Oh, no.
Oh, it went away.
It went away again, Mona. Ah.
Mike's camera.
Mike's camera's out of protein.
We're gonna read some comments while you want to.
Yeah, what do we got here?
All right. Power bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding power couple, what's going on? Facts.
This is a good one.
She just grew up a healthy food when you cook at home. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't believe Romania is not Pakistan. So, okay, there are plenty of foods. Yeah, there might be plenty of foods in the country, but if you have the money to buy them, that's the thing.
There you go. Come on, Jeff,
Oh,
say
there we
something.
go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. So here we go. Third time. This is the winner.
It's always a charm.
I was saying, I don't mind brainwashing Titan, and a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're brainwashing your kid. Yeah, of course I'm going to brainwash him, because
right.
when he's 15, 16, 17, hopefully he will be strong enough mentally to pull the ones that need help. Kids fall off quickly
Absolutely.
at that age. They
Yep.
smoke pot, they do all kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I just don't want him to do any of that stuff. No parent wants their kids to go that route. So I'm gonna brainwash him to have that mental strength, like I did. I came here, I was 16. I've never smoked, I never really drank. I mean, occasional drinking here and there. I worked in a restaurant for 25 years, and I never picked up the bad habits, because this comes first,
right.
So
That's
if you have that, then it's gonna be hard to get pulled into anything. I don't get addicted to anything at all.
What about me? You're addicted to me?
Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
There you go.
I was saying, I was hoping she was addicted to me, and that's not the case.
Oh, man. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
honey,
what
I
it's
am.
at.
So I did want to say something that I thought, and I texted John the other day. So everybody around here, I hope, understands that we are on the 30-day Blitz Volume 2. And we just started week 4 already. It happens so quick, and I love it. But I noticed with the peptides how I'm feeling, how my strength is, how my recovery is, how the skin, everything is flowing. Again, I think I messaged you, John. Do you remember that conversation I had with you? I said it happened so easily. And I know that I was on the peptides, the AOD.
AOD, yeah. AOD,
I'm taking the Hercules potion.
The amino.
The amino, it's like
The aminos, they get
this
me
is-
pumped.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just started the what was this?
NAD?
NAD,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
great.
this past week,
Right.
a few days ago. Yeah.
So
that's a good one. Is it
yeah,
helping mental
and-
clarity, Mona?
No.
So she was
Yes.
very kind to me because
Yes.
we had one bottle, and she goes, "Okay, I'm gonna give this one to you to keep you
Gotcha.
focused on everything
Yeah,
right now."
that's
So
why I texted John and I said I
I
need
got
more
you.
because
I'll
I was
have
like,
more sent
okay,
out for
yes.
you guys.
Yeah.
And so for me-
thank you.
yes, it's good because I think everybody knows when you're on a diet and the carbs are low, you're a little under. You know,
Yeah.
you're not always riding. And I noticed that I'm riding high still. I'm riding, getting good stuff, and at the same time, I know that I'm on the 30-day Blitz, but I'm still doing. I have a casting yesterday. I have another casting today, and so I got to learn my lines. I got to be in class. I got to
have
do
your lines right here. Right here.
Here we go, guys.
Nice.
Here's the
This
next
is gonna be our
project.
cardio today.
There you go.
Here's the next project. And
Yeah.
so for me, again, acting is not about remembering the lines. It's about knowing the situation, and then it just all flows together, and you know what the next line is. And so this is really helping me in that field, which if you guys are out there and you're working, and Phil Heath said to me once, he goes, "Mike, when I go do these lectures, I have to do something." And this is what he loved. He loved this. And he told me about this a year ago.
Yeah, if not longer.
That
Yeah.
he does that. And he does what you do. Like if it's a big lecture, he'll double the dose for those 3 days.
Yep.
And just so he's mentally clear as a button.
Yep.
So I just want to say thank you for helping me out on this 30-day Blitz.
Oh, you're welcome, dude. The least I can do. I mean, especially those. I mean, you're gonna get some great benefits from all 3 of those things. I mean, you know, with NAD, we talk about mental clarity, right? And that's a big part of what it does. It helps. It's a benefit. But you know, the other things is the anti-aging, protecting your DNA too as well. That's another big thing, and creating more ATP in the bloodstream and going from every living cell. So it should help with natural energy too as well. So a lot of good things just with NAD alone, and then AOD for the Blitz.
Right.
That's one of the best, dude, for sure. 100%, man. I mean, you know, you're destroying fat that's already in there and utilizing it for energy. And then whatever you are intaking calorie-wise, you know, you're using that as for energy too and not storing it as fat. So it's a double win right there for sure. Especially somebody that's like you.
I want to put this question up here. Are you ready for this? Okay.
Yeah.
Mike, how do you lift so heavy and so much? You must have problems with your joints. So this is always odd to me because if they're watching me, then they'll realize I'm not just strong today and I'm not lifting a lot
I've
today.
been doing this forever.
I've been doing that for it is over now, 40 years
Yeah.
of this level of strength.
Yeah.
So you got to remember, 40 years ago, I won the state as a teenager in powerlifting, and I did a 6, a 4, and a 6. That was 40 years ago, and I'm still doing those kind of numbers. I'm telling you guys that there's what we're talking about now too is your son and my son
Yep.
are set up to win in life because of what we know now.
Of course.
And anybody out there that has joint problems, anybody out there that has an injury, anybody out there that just can't get that body moving and firing up, let's talk about the products that John has already talked about numerous times, and we'll go over it again.
Of course.
For joints, we have a couple huge ones with also the additional IGF on top of those two John, will you explain to these guys what they
Sure.
can do to help their body?
Sure. So you can use a couple different things, and obviously as you get older, a lot of people complain about their joints, right? Mike is just is a specimen of his own, and
But I'm using this stuff though.
no, for sure.
That's what I'm saying too. So
Absolutely.
if people out here, it's like I'm still trying to maintain that, and so this is something
Absolutely.
I believe in.
Absolutely. So BPC 157 and TB 500, these are amazing healing peptides. BPC 157 stands for Body Protection Compound, and that works site directly. So you want to inject that closest to the area. TB 500 works the exact same, and these things are good for joint areas, muscles, tendons, ligaments. If you have strains, anything like that. Wound healing too, as well. That's another big one. So I've had all kinds of people, whether they're just getting done with surgery, had people have road rash, use these different things, different joint areas, shoulder problems, knee problems, golf elbow, tennis elbow. I mean, these are usually the go-to, right? And they're going to be great as far as that goes. Now, IGF-1 therapy is going to help you recover. It's going to increase your body's performance all the way around, not just with healing, but with gaining muscle mass, losing weight. Giving your anti-aging properties too, as well as to increase longevity of life.
Here's another one too, because they're saying this is the first time they've heard this. We've been talking about this for months, guys. That especially with the Hercules potion coming into play and the healthy peptides for the connective tissue was the first thing that I was like, this is not real. I felt like, this is like you're making this up, because I never understood why the medical industry worked on stuff for muscles. And I get muscles important, but the understanding of everything else around the muscle is so much more important. And I never understood why something like this wasn't more common or earlier. And I realize peptides have been around a lot longer than I realized they've been around. They've been around for decades.
Yeah.
But it just seems like we never got into them.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Why did it take so long for peptides to come out into the world of health and fitness and sports and just health?
Yeah, I really don't know why. I don't know why glutathione wasn't introduced 10, 15 years ago. I mean, because it works as far as getting down liver functions, fatty livers, but peptides the same way. I mean, people just don't know about them. They didn't. Now they do, because everybody out there is out peptides. But I mean, like, let's say when I started 11 years ago, we were doing some peptides then. People really didn't know what peptides were. They had no idea. And you had to educate them. So I think the education process now is out there, and more people are educated than ever about some of these different things and some of their different options. Before, people would, if they didn't go to us, they were going to their primary care, and there were no options like this. It's either you got to go see a specialist, and then it's surgery time, or maybe we can do this other procedure. But as far as getting these options out there to help people with these different things, it's not. It wasn't common, and that's I think that was the problem. And then over time, people started using these things. There was more research done on these things, and then people started getting more educated about them, and then people started utilizing them, and that's kind of where we're at now. But now you have the FDA, which is like, hey, listen, even BPC and all these things are supposed to be bad for you and all that, but luckily we still got supplies coming in. But at that point, it's like Big Pharma they don't want you to have these things to help you. They want you to get on medications to keep you on medications, because that's how it goes, man. They make more money like that, instead of fixing the problem, getting to the root of the problem, fixing the problem. It's covering up, masking, delaying the problem.
I just want to say that me and Mona just got back from a savage shoulder workout.
Oh, I got a pump.
but again, I loved it. The 30-day blitz is going great. I'm in it. I'm loving how the body is looking. It's, to me, I'm old school. I think of it as not a body, but an art piece. And I'm liking the art piece and how it is coming together. The goal here is January 1st to have the best physique of my entire life, even though I won the universe 20 years ago, 25 years ago. It's the goal to do that and try to give you guys insight on how I'm doing that is through the help with Titan Medical, keeping me in the game. with the healthy joints, with the health, and we did behind the neck press.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
I'll put those
yeah,
videos
we'll
up,
put
but
those up. It's 300 pounds,
yeah.
dieted down, behind the
Wow.
neck press, double nickels.
Insane.
So it's like we can still do this, guys. We can still be these warriors that we wanted to be in junior high and high school. We can still do this today, going into the old folks' home for myself. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
but you have to make the call to find out where you're at,
absolutely.
because you can't just go, oh, great, I'm going to take this peptide. Well, we don't know what's going on with you, and that goes back to the blood
Well,
work, which is stage
yeah,
one,
I
right?
saw a guy here that he said that he's 47. He's been working out for, since he was 20, and his fish oil tablets good for benefits. So, I mean, he's 47.
Good job.
Yeah, you're not taking any vitamins, it looks like, if you ask him for fish oil vitamins. But I think at this age, you should definitely find out what's going on even deeper, right? Get the
Definitely.
blood
That's a good
work
point.
done.
Yeah.
I'm
Fish oil is
48.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fish
But
oil.
I would dive much deeper.
Yeah, you gotta get. Now is the time. Oh, it's always a good time to check your blood work. But as we get older, certain things in our bodies they just start, making less and less.
Yep.
Uh,
Declining.
the product of it, it's less becoming with the from testosterone to everything.
Well, it's
the
like Johnny
joint.
was just saying about the NAD. The
Yeah,
NAD is
it's just everything. And then, John, if somebody is on the TB 500 and 157 because,
Yep.
joints or whatever, an injury,
Sure.
whatever there might be,
Sure.
is there a time frame that they could be on? And then how long do they have to take off? Like,
Usually,
what's the on and off time frame?
yeah, they usually go on for at least 4 to 6 weeks. You can go. You can go. Listen, you can do this for forever, right? It is a preventative, but you don't have to do it every single day. So when you're trying to, get over an injury or problem, whether it's golf elbow, tennis elbow, I have nagging joints on my shoulders and my knees. You're gonna want to do those areas, and you can do them once or twice daily. It just really depends on you, your budget, how you and the provider talk about how you want
Right.
to use it. And then you use it for like 4 to 6 weeks, right? And then we'll assess, hey, how's things? How are you feeling? And usually people are feeling better, and they're like, listen, I want to do another round of this, or I'm okay right now. But then we'll say, hey, listen, if you're all right right now, that's okay. But we want to do a maintenance thing to make sure you stay okay. So at that point, like every couple months, every 3 months, I would go on a program 4 to 6 weeks. So 4 times a year, maybe, if you want to go on it those times, go on it, utilize it, and hopefully you'll be okay
There
as
you
far as
go.
that goes. For me, I use it almost every day. And it gets rid of the inflammation in my shoulder until I have surgery on this thing. But it helps me. It gets me through. Because without that, having a slap tear, like my shoulder like slips out. It's the weirdest feeling ever. I'll just be standing here and it just goes, and it just droops. I'll be in bed sleeping at night, and I got to sleep on my shoulders. I'm a side sleeper, and it just goes down. And I have to like re-throw my shoulder back into place. It's the weirdest feeling ever. I don't know. So
How about for somebody that's like from overseas, right? They're right now in our live and they're watching us, but the guy is from Czechoslovakia. Is still or Slovakia or Czech or Poland.
I would
and-
find somebody that's in the United States, and at that point they can be able to utilize it. I don't know foreign as far as where they can get it from in different countries or whatever it is. I mean, it's a little
Okay.
bit different in Europe as far as that goes. Or,
But if they go to their doctor, their family doctor, and doctors usually they just do the basic thing.
not
What
gonna know
would be your
peptides.
advice to ask to get checked? Blood.
if you're going to go to your general practitioner and you want to get blood work checked,
Yeah.
what I would do is I would go through everything. I'd say, listen, I want a comprehensive metabolic panel. That's going to cover your liver, your kidneys, electrolytes. I want a complete blood cell count, red blood cell count, white blood cell count, hemoglobin, hematocrit. I want a PSA, prostate specific antigen test to make sure the prostate's okay by blood. After that, I would get a full cholesterol with diff. So LDL, HDL, the ratio, total cholesterol, triglycerides. I'd get a free and total testosterone test. I'd get an estradiol test, progesterone test, IGF-1, B12. I'd also throw in there, depending on age and everything like that, it's always a good thing to throw in hemoglobin A1C, so you can see the 3-month level of your sugars and then vitamin D. Those would probably be my first recommendations, like right off the bat. Like to say, like, hey, listen, check
Wow,
these
John,
things out.
thank you for that. That is a huge help for everybody, especially people from overseas that
Yeah.
Can't go
don't
to Titan
know. Yeah,
Medical.
they
Yeah.
can go to Titan Medical and they don't know what to really ask for. And I've gotten those messages saying, hey, what do you think I should ask for? And I'm like, I don't know, call John.
So yeah, the big thing
But
that I
yeah,
do for a lot of those foreign
huge help.
clients, I tell them up that, I mean, listen, if you speak English, you can communicate with me, and you want to do a consultation as far as what you want to do, I'll have a provider get on with them and be like, hey, listen. But the problem is that they get blood work done in these foreign countries, and it's all in the foreign language, and our providers can't read that. So
Yeah.
that's usually the issue. But some of these people, they get it translated, and they ask us like, hey, what should I do? And we'll say, hey, listen, this is what we would do here. If you can find those resources where you're at, then that's awesome. But this is what we would recommend doing.
There you go.
I love this. I want to go over one of the blood works that we talked about last week. Jeff made an interesting point. We went over a blood work. Now, this is for anybody that's on here. If you don't feel healthy, if you don't feel optimized, this is a real wake-up call. Because we were talking about one of these guys that I sent over to Titan Medical, early 30s, healthy guy. Blood work came back really pretty darn just great.
Right.
But there was still options to optimize his health, which was incredible. But what I noticed was the recommendation from Titan Medical was so minute and small. You didn't load them up. And I want to say this just because it's a moral thing, I think, is that you could have sold them 20 things or said, hey, you need to do 20 things.
Right.
And there was only 3 things on there, the Hercules potions, the aminos. And it was like, wow, you're right. They could have said, hey, you should be on testosterone right now. You should be on. And it was like, it was a real wake up call from other companies that I've seen and how they work.
Pile it on.
Yeah, it was like, I was like, and it was Jeff that woke my eyes up to that statement. I was like, wow, you're right. Because this would have been $10,000 through other company, because they would have gave you, yes,
Everything.
You need blinker fluid.
you need blinker fluid. There's light in the light bulbs. You need,
Yeah.
we got this special grass you got to eat.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Some of these companies, be careful when you're out there.
Yeah.
And I've been bamboozled by these discussions with these companies
Yeah.
where they're like, no, we're all about health. And then you see and you talk to the people they get their orders from. And then I go, wait a minute, you're 26 and how much do they want you to spend a month? $10,000? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm lost. It's like, and so just big props to you.
Thanks, man. I
You've been
appreciate
here,
that.
you've done this, you're setting yourself apart from everybody else because all you're worried about is their health, the best they can do it, and not overloading the person with things that maybe they could do later. They can always make a decision,
Of course.
but you start out with basics. And I think that's incredible because at the end of the day, you're going to make them healthier and they'll be a client for a lifetime compared to these people that are going, just grab the money now.
Right.
We're going to lose them in a month anyway. So just get as much as you can. It's like, wow, that's ugly.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do right by the patient. That's number one for us. Number two is you want to get them feeling good. Yeah, but it's quality over quantity. You don't have to load them up with a whole bunch of different things, especially somebody who's just starting something and they've never done anything like this in their whole life. And you give them 10 different therapies at one time. Now they get their box and they pull out 10 different boxes that have these different medications in them. Some need to be reconstituted. Some don't need to be reconstituted. They've got 200 needles in there, insulin syringes. They've got these mixing syringes. Like, whoa, like what did I sign up for here? Like, how do I do this? What do I start with first? How do I do, like, it's just everything they talked in the consultation is just totally gone and erased because they're so overwhelmed by what they're seeing in front of their face. That's one. Two, you're trying to get somebody a good result. That doesn't mean that you're going to throw a whole bunch of stuff at a wall and see what sticks. And then you're like, oh, I feel great. What do you feel great from? What exactly is it? Is it
That's a great
being
point.
raised? Is it this?
Yeah.
Is it this? You know, because you don't know. So at
You're
that
on
point,
20
like,
different things. What made you feel better? Come
you know, instead
on.
of doing the building block process. All right, cool. We got your testosterone perfect. You're feeling good here. Cool. What's the next goal? We're gonna do weight loss. All right, let's add AOD in here. All workouts, Hercules potion. All right, cool. All right, next month after that, recovery, IGF-1. You know, I mean, you start adding some different things in there, or changing some different things out, and tweaking the regimen to what the goal is at that point in time and what you're trying to achieve. And that could be different for different people at different times in their lives and what they're trying to do. Whether it's an athlete that needs to gain weight or needs to gain more strength, or somebody that's an actor like yourself, right? And you have different roles you're gonna have to do. So you might have to get in peak physical condition for this role, and you have to do everything you possibly can to get to that. And that's a whole different person. Or you have just the regular housewife who wants to lose a couple pounds and look good for her husband when he comes home. You know, it's just different people, different demographics, and different things you do for them.
Yeah, for anybody that's watching today, thank you so much for the feedback today about the information. I think these are incredible for you
Yeah.
guys to learn,
Yeah.
and I am still learning, still learning. I'm in the process though, because, and this is a great one here, the Hercules potion is really helping. The timing is uncanny. It's just
Right.
how this came together,
Yeah.
and the Hercules potion, and me dieting down like this. So it's amazing.
The stem cells
The-
and yeah,
and,
medical
and
help
Titan Medical's
recovery
going to be doing
quicker.
PRP here.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
this is incredible. He's got some other stuff too in the works. I don't know if you guys are, if you're out there in Florida, you've got to do a drive by the headquarters.
Yes.
But if you're not, then you just make sure to touch base with them, call them. The numbers there on the screen for you guys to give them a call and talk to them. And going back to the one kid that was healthy, and he was so excited about those three products, the aminos, the Hercules and stuff, and the IGF, I think it was. He's like, yeah, I wanted them to tell me to do T. And it's like, well, maybe you don't need to right now. Let's just do this, see what happens, and see where you are in the next 3-6 months, and then make that decision. You can always go to that. It's there for you.
Right. You know, and when I talk to the younger guys about going on testosterone, I tell them, listen, if you need it, it's one thing. If you don't need it, don't do it. Don't do it, because you're signing up for a lifetime. I don't care what people say, and you can get off of it. It's not, oh, if you stop taking, you're going to die, but you're going to go back to bad levels or kind of where they're at or bottom out. Even if you do the PCT, the post-cycle therapy program that everybody talks about in bodybuilding, you're still not going to get the optimal testosterone of what you had originally.
Can you go into that? Because I actually haven't heard that. What is this? Is this kind of the terminology of low dosing?
So you see the people out there and they're like, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to start testosterone. I'm going to go on a cycle of testosterone. All right, cool. So they go on the cycle of testosterone, whether it's 6, 8 weeks, 10-week program, 12-week program. They go on testosterone. They're taking other anabolics. Now it's time to get off their cycle. So they're going to go through a post-cycle therapy of some sort. And usually they're going after drugs like Novaldex, HCG, Clomid. And what they want to do is they want to re-stimulate their production. Because what's happened is they've shut down all their natural production. The factory is closed. It's not producing anything. So they need to get some more factory workers back in the building and start getting the lights on and start moving. So they're going to start taking these things. Now they've got the conversion from estrogen, from testosterone too as well, that they haven't been taken care of. And Novaldex they use because it hits the receptors of the estrogen in your chest area. So they want to get gynecomastia instead of taking a real aromatase inhibitor like an anastrozole. I mean, it's just crazy kind of what they're doing. They're playing Russian roulette to see if they can get their system back online or not. And sometimes the system comes back online and sometimes it doesn't. And usually when the system comes back online, it's not as good as when it was online previous naturally, if that makes any sense. So,
That makes sense.
For people to do it, I would say, hey, listen, if you really need it, then do it. If you don't really need it, don't do it yet. I don't care if you want it. The 10 pounds that you're going to gain from your cycle is going to go away very fast, and you're not going to keep it per se. Use whatever genetics you got. Use your natural levels. If you come to the point when you blood testing, and this is not good for you, your levels, they suck, and then you have all the symptoms that go along with it, and you're really kind of suffering from this, that point, then you go on, because you know what, you need it and you're going to benefit the most out of it. If you don't, if you take it and you don't need it, you can take your chance of what you want to do afterwards.
And great info on that. And yeah, that's I think that's what they call a low dose, or just trying to come clean in the bodybuilding world.
Yeah,
so
they try to come clean. Yeah, it's like I said, and then you got to worry about where they're getting that from, and is it real or not? That's the other thing. So they're not even being.
Oh, that's really important.
That's
huge. If you buy it in a parking lot.
Somebody came up to us in the gym. No, it's actually more real than you think, because a guy comes up in the gym and he goes, "Yeah, I just competed a couple weeks ago, and he got his T level checked, and his T level was tanked, and he competed, and he goes, this whole time I've been getting ready for this show, I was taking fake stuff." And it's like, okay, well, that's the silly stuff that you don't need to do in today's day and age.
Definitely
In today's day and age, you can call Titan Medical. You can get the real stuff and keep you healthy at the same time.
That's the other thing,
Stop playing around, people.
People want to play around. I get the comments all the time. I can get UGL for $25. I'm like, okay, you get the underground lab for $25. Now you have no idea what you're injecting. And then let's say that batch was the best batch ever. You don't know how batch number 2 is going to be, and there's no testing to back up what that's going to be in that batch. I don't know how many people that I've tested that have been taking underground lab stuff, and their testosterone comes back just like you were talking about with that competitor. It comes back low. And I'm like, how much have you been taking? And like 800,000 milligrams. Why? Is it through the roof? Like, no, you have low testosterone, like clinically. And then they get pissed. They get mad because they waste all this money. They think this is what they've got, and it's been a total placebo effect the whole time. And they have no idea what the hell they've been doing.
I just don't get life that way. Yes, you can get the stuff. Let's say it's all great. Why would you want to do something that you're not understanding what it's doing to your inside? And that's where the blood work is the most important thing. And it's not just blood work, but you're getting your blood work read to you by somebody that specializes in this.
Yeah.
So I get you guys want to go get stuff and get jacked up because that's what the thing is, but it's be intelligent about this.
Got to be intelligent about it, man. Definitely take the advice from Mike or me if you guys want to, but I'm telling you guys, like, you want a long life, a long, healthy life at that. And if you start taking those roads, you don't know what might be cutting down that life and longevity that you have. Because you don't know. You never know. Nobody knows how long they're going to be here. You could be here today and gone tomorrow. You could be the healthiest or unhealthiest person there is.
This is great, and this will be a discussion another time, but it's great that your testosterone level is at 700 at 61. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we've seen this a lot with friends of mine that are at that age group, but their free testosterone is the question here.
Right.
And so just make sure that I get your 700, which is awesome. Congratulations. Double check your free testosterone. Make sure that is also optimal.
Definitely.
And that's where it goes back to blood work. Is there a price right now that we got with Titan Medical that they can do their blood work?
$150 all day for you guys.
Okay, guys. So if you haven't done it, get a hold of them. Get the blood work done. $150. Rock and roll. I think it's a little bit more for you ladies and stuff because there's a lot more tests
$200 for
they want to
females
do.
and $150 for males.
So get rocking and rolling. And this week, what kind of sales do we have?
We have tirzepatide on sale this week. So tirzepatide is a great weight loss medication, and people have heard of Mounjaro or Zepbound. This is the active ingredient that's in those things. It's better than semaglutide. It's got GLP-1 and GIP, which are two active main ingredients instead of just the GLP-1 that's in semaglutide. You get it for $25 off of what the price is. So it would be $625 for an 8-week therapy package of tirzepatide. Yeah. So people are trying to lose weight. You have no excuse because this is something that's going to definitely help you lose weight. Pretty good, pretty fast.
Yeah. That's great.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
Johnny, thank you as always for taking time today.
For sure. Absolutely love you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on.
And then also everybody over on Generation Iron, we launched a show Friday, and with our team, Big Drew on there, talking about how at one time he might have been taking too much, and how when he got to Titan Medical, they put him on the right protocol for him, which was much less.
Right.
And he's still just this big monster of a man and just a kind soul. But at the end of the day, I know we're talking about health and health and health. Guys, you can get jacked. You can get strong. You can do this in the right way. So don't think that we're not saying you can't do that. Because my goal is, I love being 285 pounds ripped. I love it. I love lifting the whole gym.
Right.
So don't think that I'm saying you are just done. This is just about health. Yes, it's about health, but it's about creating a superhuman, and that's why it's called Titan Medical, because it is a Greek god, and we're creating superheroes here.
That's right. That's right. Godlike for sure. You know, and with Drew, he's a prime example. When Drew came to me, there was one thing with the quantity thing, but the diet was the other thing. He was going by the Rich Piana, whatever it takes. I'm gonna eat 5, quarter pounders with cheese and 4 French fries and 2 Diet Cokes and all this every day, and I'm still gonna be big. He was big. He had abs, but he was bloated and he had a lot of sodium, and he looked a lot more rounded. And now he looks on point. I mean, his meals are on point. I'm proud of Drew. What he's came for sure, 100%. He's still massive. So
He's still just a monster.
He is.
It's awesome. Love, brother. We'll talk this week.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good one. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.